Hey, y'all. So Barbie has been in the news lately, all over social media, all in pop culture, and it seems like it has been the most controversial topic on social media, probably since Kanye West made some comments about Hitler on Alex Jones a few months ago. And it got me thinking, why is this so controversial? Why is what Kanye did so controversial, et cetera, et cetera? So I reached out to Green Girl from Kanyesposts, the meme page on Instagram, and we're going to talk about why people perceive the Barbie movie as controversial, and we'll probably also get some updates about Kanye West and the great Ye, and if he has any upcoming albums or anything like that. So without further ado, here is Green Girl from Kanyesposts.
Hello, thanks for having me. Perfect timing. I'm actually wearing the shirt that my friend just made, another Kanye page, Kanye Defense Team, and it's Yay on Alex Jones when he brought the net and the Yahoo chocolate milk to represent Net Yahoo. And then the back of the shirt, it says, Love everyone, because that's what the whole meaning was supposed to be. It was supposed to be, I love everyone, including he who shall not be named, but you already named him.
Yeah, we're not talking about Voldemort from Harry Potter. Okay, so let's get into this. What's your take on, let's talk Barbie and then we'll talk Kanye. What's your take on the Barbie movie? Why is it so controversial to people on social media and in pop culture in general?
I think it's kind of strange that Barbie movie is so controversial. Nothing in the Barbie movie, to me, it paled in comparison to what Ye did back in December. The only people, according to Mark Maron, who are upset or triggered by Barbie are insecure babies. That is what comedian Mark Maron said. Have you been seeing a lot of fighting in the comments about Barbie?
I'm in the political realm of news, and yes, I've seen a lot of people basically saying this is woke trash.
Well, it's definitely uh, left. It's definitely left media. I'm sure Mark Maron is. I don't know. He's a comic, so I always think they're more in the middle. But yeah, I've had friends tell me that movie was trash, and I've had other friends say Barbie has raised the frequency for women. So
Okay.
when I was watching Barbie, I obviously it made me feel like every woman is pretty, even though they did not have a green Barbie, which I was disappointed. They had every Barbie. They had a chubbier Barbie. They had a trans Barbie. They covered all their bases. They left me out, but they did a good job at trying to not offend anyone, where they were inclusive. So they made sure that they cast every single type of Barbie, and even Mattel hasn't done that. So in that case, it's definitely very like diversity inclusive. Did you notice that they had every type of Barbie?
The Barbies that they had in the movie were almost all actual creations of Mattel. Even the Sugar Daddy Ken doll thing, and some of the weirder ones like the Barbie with the TV in her back, which makes no sense at all. But I do think that they covered a lot. They tried to be as inclusive as possible. They had the fat girl, they had the girl in the wheelchair, but they definitely did not include any sort of traditional or conservative Barbie figure in any capacity at all.
You would have liked like a red, white, and blue Confederate flag Barbie.
Confederate flag.
I don't know. They might have made Mattel might have made one at one point.
I didn't even think about that. No, I'm not. I'm not big on the Confederate flag,
What
but
about
I do.
the American flag, like in general? Do you think?
Yeah, they could have done something like that. I know that it doesn't go with the flow of the movie, but I'm just saying it. I don't think it actually included everyone. I do think that they did a really good job of trying to appear as inclusive as possible.
So, I mean, as someone that grew up in a patriotic household, I find it weird that the flag is being, if you even have a flag, people will say that you're essentially a white supremacist. But I don't think there's anything wrong with wearing a flag shirt. I used to have them from Old Navy. Kanye himself was rocking a flag jacket during his cancellation. But I did think that the conservative Barbie was when they were cowboys. Wasn't that like wasn't that as conservative as they could get, right? That's what I'm guessing.
I think that's just Western Barbie.
So what would you want? What did you want to see? Like a blonde bimbo, like podium?
No, that's the blonde bimbo. is Barbie. You know, Barbie was based off of a sex worker, like adult gag gift from Germany, right?
I did not.
Yeah, Barbie is based off of a bimbo.
How come Ruth didn't say that in the movie? She made the origin story totally different at the end.
Well, hey, that's showbiz, baby.
They could have included that. That would have been an interesting twist to see how they kind of worked the sex worker angle in.
I don't know, man. That's interesting. I wonder why they didn't, especially because it's a feminist movie.
God, it couldn't have been a kid's movie.
That's what I was about to say, but I already kind of don't think it was a kid's movie, to be totally honest with you.
So you felt it was inappropriate for kids?
Do I feel that just absolutely bashing people over the head with woke ideology is for kids? No. I think that it probably could have just been like a little more laid back. I do think it was it was funny though.
Well, I saw a TikTok today and it showed the scene where Barbie and Ken get to Venice Beach and they're in Venice for the first time. It's got like 500,000 likes on TikTok. And it said, isn't it crazy that when Barbie and Ken get to the real world, Barbie feels humiliated and embarrassed and Ken feels uplifted. So it's supposed to show how women are not as accepted. And like, you know, if you're a hot girl, you get those, you know, those three guys that she went up to, the construction workers, they were fond of her. So everyone, like all the comments were women saying like how they agree and that they feel so scared in this world.
Really?
But you don't know because you've never been a woman.
Yeah, but no guy on earth is walking around like, yeah, I feel so uplifted. That doesn't exist either. I mean, the whole movie's a fantasy. It's not real.
I think it was definitely heightening the characters. I don't think Ken, I mean, they might act like that. Gary, I feel like I've seen you in public and you feel good.
You've never felt good in public?
I feel great in public.
What? Because you're wearing a green outfit.
I went to Venice Beach. This is the crazy part. When I was helping the Kim Kardashian Ruin My Life guy, the guy with the sign.
Yeah, what was that about? Can we talk about that after?
That's a whole nother podcast. That day we went to Venice is when they were filming Barbie and they let us be background in the movie. We didn't know what was going on. I just remember seeing neon rollerblades, but I didn't see, they ended up blurring his sign out. But when I was wearing this, and all of the background actors and the crew were like pointing at me like, you look really dumb. So I felt like Barbie as Green Girl, but I don't feel like that as Emily. So
the Barbie crew was chastising you, going against what the whole idea of the film is. This is I'm gonna say this right now. The movie was funny as fuck. I laughed pretty after the intro sequence. I thought was really dumb, and it was an ode to Space Odyssey, which I didn't think it did a good job, but. Because it's comparing baby girls to little monkeys, essentially. But the movie was pretty funny. Whoever did wardrobe deserves a fucking award, hands down. Whoever did set design deserves an award. And the cinematography was badass. There was almost no character development in any capacity. There was a little character jump, and then it all went back to the way things were at the beginning, so the characters didn't really evolve that much, with the exception of the Barbie character. Didn't sympathize with the mom at all. She's complaining about how her daughter doesn't like her. They didn't have any background story to any of that. They literally didn't explain any of it. And all the social lessons that it was trying to teach, which people watching this probably are like, thinking, oh, Gary hates this feminist shit. I actually don't. I am for the equality of the genders, especially in the age that we've progressed into. Doesn't make any sense for people to not be treated with equal respect and kindness and have equal rights. But it was so heavy-handed that it lost any sort of. There was no subtlety. It lost any sort of effect that it would have on somebody that disagrees with it, like me, that I was like, this is stupid.
What do you disagree with? Like, what do you find so controversial?
What do I controversial? No. I think the way they portrayed men was kind of stupid, but it was funny, which is what it's supposed to do. I don't think it was controversial. The people who think it's controversial were the people that are on social media and they're like, this is horrible. I don't think it's that bad. I actually thought it wasn't a bad movie.
Here's my perspective and how it relates back to Ye, is that every single movie is woke ideology now. There is no others. They're all like that. So
That's a good point.
Why was this so surprising?
Who the hell wants to watch their movies?
Oh, my dad's chiming in.
What's happening?
Huh?
Who wants to watch that woke crap?
Mom.
she's
You better not say anything because it's going on air.
well,
Back to me.
Hey, you said that your wife liked the Barbie movie, but your wife also told me yesterday when I was on the phone that I couldn't say the word retard. What's the big deal about that?
Well,
if you don't agree with what they believe, they call you every name in the book. A racist, a homophobe. And it's got nothing to do with that.
you realize this isn't just a FaceTime.
I just don't prefer that lifestyle. It's shoved in my face.
Well, then don't go see Sound of Freedom.
But it doesn't matter. I can turn on a commercial on TV. I see it.
That's kind of a good point.
That's the snaz.
Well, it's the truth.
My point is that Kanye said in December that all celebrities are controlled, all media is left, all media is woke, and he was trying to shake himself out of the matrix by saying the most controversial things he could possibly say. And unlike Barbie, where they profited, it was by far one of the best marketing schemes of all time. He lost all that money because if you go against the agenda, you're going to lose money.
So you're saying that the Barbie movie had a good marketing scheme?
Oh, totally. Because they I think, and I saw this girl on TikTok, Jennifer Carmody, had a conspiracy where she said she thinks that they purposely put out all those like trending memes before the writers and actors strike got really big, just so they could not be called scabs. Because now the actors are saying, don't talk about Barbie. Stop posting Barbie. They're calling them scabs if you promote the movie at all. That's a whole other podcast in itself.
So you mean the people who are writing for the Hollywood left-wing woke Hollywood, they're the one now they turned on their own people and they're not taking care of them. Imagine that, because that's an ideology. It's a snake eating its own tail always. It always is.
So the timing of the release and like they had those memes came out a few weeks later, they would have gotten more backlash because right now as an actor, you're not supposed to be talking about your movies you're in. They said all SAG actors boycott speaking about any film. You were not allowed to promote any film. But for Barbie went viral. So like it kind of didn't matter if the actors promoted it. Everyone on the internet was already doing, "Hi Barbie. Hey Ken."
Right.
So to me, it was the best marketing campaign. But that's why I don't believe the movie is that controversial, because it didn't go against the mainstream narrative. It's the same thing we've been hearing. I don't mind people.
Okay.
Like, I just think what Ye did was way more controversial because he literally was naming names, speaking out, saying everyone's elite. He was saying it was the Illuminati. He went after a lot of things that most people wouldn't. That to me is controversial. I'm just like, uplifting women in a fictional movie isn't that controversial.
I mean, more so from the social media standpoint, where people are, going back and forth in comments and they're arguing about stuff. But I do think that, okay, well, what do you think? I guess I'll ask you, what do you think about the way that they portrayed men and the extreme gender stereotypes?
Well, I think I was telling you that the only one that I really felt I resonated with was when they were playing the guitar, because I've had a lot of experience where men invite me over to hang out, and then instead of wanting to talk to me, they pull out their guitar and they make me listen to them play the worst tunes I've ever heard, finger picking, and I'm supposed to just bob my head and tell them how amazing they are. And I hate that. So that scene really resonated with me, especially in Hollywood. There's a lot of guys that whip out their guitar.
That's kind of pathetic.
Have you done that?
No, I don't even know how to play a guitar.
Well, neither do they. And they still... I mean, what... Did you relate to any of the stereotypes?
Yeah, for sure. But I don't think they're even negative. I think that masculinity is very important, and it helps... It helps to build things. It helps to maintain what is there, but it doesn't necessarily need to be bashed over the head. And, I think we should be celebrating femininity and masculinity.
Well, I think the whole point of Barbie was that they think that we have been celebrating masculinity for so long. So now their way of going about it is by being like, well, you guys have been ahead for so long. Let's turn the tables. And now women are in power.
Well, that's not how progress works. You can't just bash somebody else to pull somebody else forward,
But here's the thing. It's just a movie.
Right, right. It's true. That's true. But there are a lot of people who are watching movies like this, and then they're, they're like, they think that that is the real world in the Barbie movie. They think that's how the real world actually is. There's plenty of women that think like that, and I have no problem uh, with women liking. I don't have any problem with the Barbie land aspect of things. You know, that's sort of a fantasy world that on Earth, some super hot women actually live that fantasy life day to day. So they're like sort of disconnected. That exists for people. You know what I mean?
Well, today when we were talking before the call, I mentioned something to you, and you were like, Emily, stop focusing on the negative. And I thought to myself, this is why the Barbie movie exists, because Barbie was not allowed to express any.
You cut out.
I was saying earlier when we were talking, I was saying something to you. Let's redo the podcast. And you were like, because of this, this, and this. And you were like, let's stop focusing on the negative. And I thought, damn, Gary, this is why Barbie exists. Because in Barbie land, they were never allowed to express a negative emotion. They had to suppress it all and be perfect all the time. But men were allowed to. So I was like, wow, Gary just suppressed. And then I was like, I'm a feminist now because of that one comment you made.
So you're saying that women are really sensitive?
I think that we should be allowed to. I think both are sensitive. And I think both can be allowed to express it.
Yeah, no, I mean, if somebody told me not to focus on the negative, I would literally think nothing of it and I would keep moving forward.
Right. But in Barbie world, that really affected Barbie when she was told that she couldn't express negative emotions. Remember, she was thinking about death and anxiety, and then she's like, what's happening? I'm thinking about death.
Yeah, you know, that's interesting. And the people who put the social pressure on her weren't the men. It was the other women.
Was it? Who was it that Kate
It was all the other women that were basically that she was frightened to talk about how she actually felt around. That is actually very interesting. I didn't think about that.
And that's how I feel now around you.
So you're saying that I'm a Barbie?
Yeah, I think you acted like Barbie in that scenario then.
Jesus Christ. What am I doing?
You might be more Barbie than me.
I think I need to go on a retreat.
Maybe.
Think about what I've done.
I've been thinking about it. Would you rather live in Barbie land or the real world?
Well, I never had the opportunity to really live in Barbie land. I think that I actually really, look, this is what, when we did the pod yesterday, I'm kind of glad we did redo this because the Zoom recording got cut off right when I was about to talk about what I really, my final point. And that is that Barbie land exists for some people, right? It does. There are women who don't have to lift a finger. They've got 6 different guys doing a bunch of different things for them. They've got other women doing things for them. They got attention from everybody. It's sort of like pretty privilege. But you can look at it that way, sure. But that's not how everybody that's good looking is. But everybody on Earth that has money can afford to live in Barbie land, whether it's male, female, non-binary, transgender. If you have money, you have power, you have control, you don't have to do fucking anything. And that's what I was kind of getting at yesterday.
They all look wealthy in Barbie land. No one was poor.
Yeah, which is why it was interesting to me that at the end they were like, well, let's have everything go back to the way it was. Well, Barbie land was basically the feminist version of the 1950s, which is an oppressive society. Why would you go back to that? There was no moral in the fucking movie.
What do you mean it was 1950s? If the women were ruling it, it wasn't.
What?
Well, if the women were in charge, though. In the 1950s, they weren't. What are you saying?
Yeah. I said it was the feminist version of the 1950s. Okay. It's the Barbie land society was an oppressive society. But that's what they wanted it to look like because they were contrasting Barbie land with how men were treated in Barbie land is how they're saying that women were treated in the real world. I get the analogy. I'm not stupid. I just think it was really on the nose, and the lesson wasn't learned at the end because they went back to how things were. That's not how it should have went. I think it should have had a positive.
Margot Robbie made a really bad choice. She should have never been human. She should have never chose the gynecologist. She should have never chose that dull-colored yellow dress at the end. The second she became a human, she looked terrible. She's in Birkenstocks, going to the gyno. It was a bad choice.
She was in Birkenstocks?
Yeah, that was a symbolic moment right at the end. You see her foot stepping out of the car because in the
I must have
first
missed that.
first scene, remember her feet were flat, and they were like, "You now you can either wear the high heels or the Birkenstock. Which one are you going to choose?" And the Birkenstock represented like the real world, which I
Right.
don't think Birkenstock should represent the real world. I think Yeezys should, but of course they Birkenstock. So you just see her in the very last scene of the movie. She's in a really drab color. She's in this like muted brown, and she's just so excited to go get a pap smear. And I'm like, well, this doesn't. They just wanted to prove that she had genitals, I guess. But as someone that hasn't been to the gyno in years, because it's hard to find like a good doctor in LA, I didn't think that was very relatable.
I think it's funny that the representation, the piece of clothing they used as representation for her transformation from plastic Barbie person to real human being are Birkenstocks, which are actually relatively expensive.
Totally, they're like at least 100 to 150.
That's funny to me that they're really, if they wanted to show her as a normal average person, they would have her stepping out of the car in some non-slips, going to Waffle House or Denny's to be a waitress, because that really is probably much more representative of the average blue collar working class female's life.
No, she's
And
in Los Angeles, like on Wilshire Boulevard in a nice area near Beverly Hills, going to like I said, to a gynecologist, and she probably didn't even have health insurance.
so she's just a hot woman that just gets everything handed to her in her life. That's the main character that we're all supposed to be connecting with, right?
Yeah, and I don't know. Like I said, it's hard to find a good gyno in LA. So if anyone out there is listening, let me know. My mom is like, that's the one thing we're doing before you're out of this trip is finding you a gyno. All because of the fucking Barbie movie. Women should be going, but I just felt like that everyone laughed in the movie theater at that line. I personally didn't laugh.
I thought, look, like I said earlier, I actually did not dislike the movie. I'm going to give it a 5.5 or a 6 out of 10.
I probably just have problems with the gyno because I can't afford one. The average American can't really afford great health care. So yeah, I don't think it was an accurate.
Okay, what about this?
They can't solve the patriarchy and health insurance in one movie. They don't. It was only a 2-hour film. They'd have
Hold
to.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Patriarchy doesn't really exist.
I don't even know what patriarchy means.
The patriarchy is the idea that, you know, paternal figures, father figures run society, and like half the guys I know can't even see their kids. Patriarchy does not exist.
Well, that's what Ye was fighting for. He said fathers have no rights.
We don't. I can't. I haven't seen my son in months. I have literally zero rights.
I'm sorry.
But you know what? You know what though? You know what? If I had money for a lawyer, I probably would. So again, goes back to money. Alex Jones, actually, to bring this back to Ye, because I do want to talk to you about Ye.
Do we have time?
Alex Jones is a good example of, if you actually do have money, you can get your kids. He got divorced. He has a bunch of money. He got a lawyer. He got his kids. That's what all of it goes back to money. So these distractions like patriarchy, gender conflicts, transgenderism, fucking drugs, religion, sex, everything is always, it's all a distraction from the fact that the people who have had money for decades and generations still do, and they still run everything.
100%.
Anyways, let's talk Ye.
Well, that's what he was talking about when this whole entire thing, the posting spree started, was back in February 2022. And it's when Kim Kardashian was not allowing Ye to see his kids. She changed her phone number and wouldn't tell him the address to the birthday party of his son. So he had to text Travis Scott, who gave him the address, and he showed up. Props to Travis for letting him in. And then he started going on these posting sprees, posting signs on the side of the road that talked about fathers' rights, saying like, I'm fighting for all the fathers out there, the ones that are. He's like, if I am a billionaire and I have to fight for my kids, imagine what fathers with no money have to do. He's like, if even a billionaire can't see his kids, just imagine all the other fathers in the U.S. right now that can't see their kids. So he found that the system just wasn't made for men when it came to children. And Gary is taking notes.
Yeah, I am, because it's a serious That's a serious topic. I wasn't expecting you to go that way, but I'm more than glad to dive into that. Can you?
Do we have time?
Can you? I mean, the Zoom call is still going. We're still good.
Does it say how much time is left?
No, it does not yet, but it'll give me a 10-minute warning when we do.
I feel like we've been talking for 20 already.
It's 30 minutes.
Okay.
So it might actually be longer than 30. Don't worry about it. I got it. Kanye West started doing all this posting because of fathers' rights. You're saying.
And no one knows that. That was the initial thing that really ticked him off, was that Kim did not let him go to his son's birthday party. And that's when he started going on a rant. Then he said, I do not want my daughter on TikTok. She is being put on TikTok to be used by Disney and the leftist, godless media.
Where the hell are all the hairbrushes?
I'm doing a podcast.
I need a hairbrush.
I don't know where the hairbrushes are. Do I look like I have a hairbrush?
Yeah, right here on the table.
All right, let's keep going on this because this is a good content right here.
I'm at my parents' house right now.
All right, we got 9 minutes left. So
Okay, cut that part out. Can you edit it out?
yeah, let's just keep going.
I'd say last. Oh, okay. So Ye did not want his daughter on TikTok. He said, Disney is using my family because they just launched the Hulu show. He didn't want anything to do with the Hulu show. He said, Skeet, aka Pete Davidson, is a prop. Hulu needed a new narrative. They don't support the father and the mother and the family unit. They don't want a strong male figure in the household. They want to destroy the family unit. And he started calling Hollywood the godless media. So all of his posts were about how he thinks TikTok is evil, how fathers don't have any rights, and how the media is godless, and how their agenda is essentially anti-Christian. The anti-woke agenda is anti-Christian. That was what he was preaching about from February of 2022 to December. Even in September, when all the celebrities were upset about his White Lives Matter shirt, he said, where were you guys when I was speaking out about how I couldn't see my kids? It was a huge, he was so upset about that. Not being able to see his kids is what fueled that entire posting spree and what led him to where he is right now.
So, to take this back to the Barbie movie and the patriarchy, it doesn't really sound like, even if you have money, I could be wrong. I originally said if you have money, then you can have control and power. But it sounds like I could be wrong. And even if you have money...
Yeah, there's still some problem.
Even if you have money, the patriarchy still doesn't exist if a billionaire can't get his own kid back. So do we live in a matriarchy then?
I think that there's certain times when women have power in certain systems, and there's certain times when males have power. And first, I don't have kids, but it sounds like from what you both are saying, the mother has most of the say in the courtroom. So the father doesn't have much. That's what he was saying. Like I said, I don't have any statistics, but now the question is, they're all like, well, why is Ye never around his kids if he cared that much? That's what the other side's arguing.
Wow. I got a question. I have a question. Why should he have to fight to be around his kids?
Right. For a whole year.
Why at all? He didn't do anything wrong.
He also shouldn't have had the kids on. Well, they were taking the kids away before he even did anything outlandish on social media. So that's what made him, the whole reason he went to social media is because he couldn't get a hold of anybody. They all changed their phone numbers. He had to text the head of Apple Music to ask, what's Kim's phone number, to try to figure out all this.
That's the same thing that my baby mama did to me. She blocked me on everything, and then we had to go to court, and I wasn't able to see my son on a regular basis like I was. And
what's interesting is a lot of the early followers of the Kanye's post page were single fathers that weren't even necessarily Kanye fans. They were relating to the messaging he was putting out there about, they had baby mama drama and they wanted to tune in and hear what he had to say about it. They related it as well. They would send me their stories in the DMs. A lot of similar stories out there.
You know that. Do you think Kanye sees your posts?
I've heard that he's aware of my page and found it funny.
Hey, Kanye West, if you happen to see this, I would absolutely love to sit down and talk father's rights with you and
Don't
and
expect a lot. I don't think it's hard to get through to him now. He's in Japan. He doesn't have a phone. He might have a phone, he might not. But hey, I think he would love to do that. I think he really wants to fight for the fathers out there. And a lot of other celebrities, once he started speaking out about fathers' rights, other celebrities, they were also starting to speak out about it. So I think I don't even think you knew about that.
No, I was not very aware of that. But I will say this, that that's really eye-opening that a billionaire can't even see his kid. That's kind of fucking insane.
Like, I'm a billionaire and I can't even see my kids.
Is your dad yelling at you about leaving?
I got to go to the airport. But I think we covered a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I think we did. I think there's some interesting stuff there that's kind of eye-opening, especially I really didn't know about that. I'll clip this up and we'll do something with it that could probably help some people.
Thanks for having me. If you guys want to follow the page, Kanye's post, if you want to see all the posts that I was referring to just now, you're going to have to scroll very far back. Ye post a lot, and so do I. But you got to go all the way back to the beginning, and you'll see all of the posts that he deleted. That was the whole reason I started the page. He was posting really good stuff and deleting it. So I felt the need that someone needed to archive it,
Yeah.
So
100%.
So now we have it. We're like a museum for Kanye's thoughts.
I want to do a podcast. I want to do a podcast with Ye about getting our kids back, man. That's absolutely insane. I did not realize the depth of the issues that he was having with his baby mama. But it's always the same thing. They're all these toxic baby mamas are all the same way, they use the same formula.
It's not even just about seeing the kids too. It's how the kids are being raised. Like, they have a huge difference in opinion of how the kids are raised.
Right. How the kids are raised, and also how they view the father and everything. Anyways, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you. I'll post this here in a couple hours. I think you're cutting out. Anyways, thanks for coming on. See you later. All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Like and share the video if you can, if you want to, I guess. And tune in next time for more content. I've also got a podcast coming out here soon with my ex-girlfriend. We went and watched a Barbie movie, and we actually weirdly agreed on a bunch of stuff. So it's very interesting. And she also had some interesting socio-political comments that I was not expecting. Maybe just because she's my ex. I don't know. Anyways, tune in next time. Thank you.